Good morning, guys. Okay. Today we're going to be doing unit rate. So it kind of ties into the ratios. Okay. So now we're going to do a unit rate. So go ahead and pause so you can go ahead and copy the notes down, and then I'll come back and I'll explain and we'll do some examples together. Okay. All right. There you go. We can pause. Okay. So a unit rate. First, you have to understand what a rate is. Okay. A rate is a ratio that compares different units. So unlike a ratio, okay, where our answers were just two numbers separated by the colon or a fraction bar, a rate is actually going to have the unit attached to the number. Okay. So for example, 120 words for every 3 minutes. Okay. 3 cups of flour to 2 teaspoons of sugar. So you're actually telling me what the words are, rather than a ratio is just 3-2, 1-4, 1-1. Here I'm attaching the unit to the word, okay, to the number. So I know what you're talking about. That's what a rate is, okay? A unit rate is a rate that has 1 as a denominator, okay? So in other words, if I have 120 words in 3 minutes, the unit rate for this would be 40 words in 1 minute, okay? So I want to know per 1. The denominator or the second number is going to be a 1. Some of the most common unit rates that you'll see around are dollars per pound. So how much does it cost for 1 pound? Miles per hour. How many miles can you go in 1 hour? Words per minute, dollar per person, dollar per gallon, inches per day. Those are stuff that you will see daily, that you'll see a lot around, in everyday life, okay? That's pretty much per 1. How many is it for 1? So let's take a look at the examples I have here, okay? A car travels 300 miles on 15 gallons of gasoline. What is the unit rate per gallon of gasoline? Okay, so I'm going to write this. I like to write them as a fraction so I can simplify it better, okay, rather than writing it with the colon or the word to. So here I'm going to do 300 miles, and make sure you write the units because they do want, it's a rate. So 300 miles on 15 gallons. 300 miles, 15 gallons. Okay. Now they want to know what's the unit rate per gallon. So I want to know how much is it per 1 gallon. So you remember, per should remind you that we are going to divide here. Okay. So per gallon. So what am I dividing? Well, let's think about this. The definition of a unit rate is that the denominator is a 1. So I have to get this to equal 1 gallon. Okay. Well, what did I do to get from 15 to 1? I divided 15 by 15. If I divide 15 by 15, I'll get 1. So I have to do the same thing to the top number here, the numerator, okay? So off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and divide 300 by 15. 15 to 30 goes 2 times. Bring down your 0, and it's 20 miles. So the unit rate here is going to be 20 miles per gallon. Okay? 20 miles per gallon. So if you looked at what we actually did, all I actually did was take the 300 and divided it by 15. That's it. Okay? And once you do that, now I know how far I can go on 1 gallon of gas. So why is this important? Well, I can now figure out if I have a 20-gallon tank in my car and I fill it up, I can now figure out how many miles I can go on that 20-gallon tank. So I can go 20 miles in 1 gallon. If I have a 20-gallon tank, I can go 400 miles before I have to fill up again. Okay, so that's why it's good to know the unit rate. So now you can figure out multiple answers to this. All right, so I can go 20 miles on 1 gallon of gas. Okay, so all you're doing is dividing today. Let's take a look at another one to see if you get it. All right. My mom jogs 30 miles in 5 hours. What is the unit rate per hour? So this pretty much tells you what's going to have to be, what you're dividing by. I'm dividing by the hour. See up here, we divided by the gallon. I'm dividing by the hour. So let's write this down correctly. Write it like a fraction so you can see what you're dividing. So 30 miles per is my fraction bar. Hour, I went 5 hours, or she went 5 hours. Okay. Now they want the unit rate. Okay, so this is the rate. They want the unit rate. Okay. The unit rate has to have a denominator of 1 hour. So all I have to do is take my 30 miles. So here is my 30 miles. And divide that by the 5 hours. And that gives you 6 miles. So the way you say it is 6 miles per 1 hour. So we can just write this here, 6 miles per hour. I don't have to write the 1 there because if I say per hour, it's assumed that it means for 1, okay? So my mom can do 6 miles in 1 hour. So now I can figure out, well, how much can she jog in 2 hours? She can jog 12 miles. How many can she jog in 3 hours? Well, 3 times 6 will give me 18, okay? So it's very good. It's very helpful when you have the unit rate, okay? Let's see, last one together. I bought 3 pounds of bananas for $1. What is the unit price per banana? Okay, so they want per banana. So this right here tells me what I'm dividing by, okay? So it's going to be per, and they want the banana, okay, which means they want the cost on top, okay? So this always tells you what you're dividing by. I'm dividing by the bananas because the money ones can get tricky, okay? So let's take a look. They give me 3 pounds of bananas, and they already said per banana goes on the bottom. So my 3 goes on the bottom. 3 pounds, 3 lbs of bananas for $1. The cost is going to be $1, okay? So we got to find the unit price. Now, one thing, this is the rate, $1 for 3 bananas. I want the unit rate, our unit price for 1 pound of bananas. Okay, and we're going to figure out the cost. So we're going to divide. When it comes to the money problems, I like to always think of, you know what, my money always goes in my pocket. My money stays in my house, okay? So money pretty much is always going to be the number you're dividing, all right? So my $1 goes here. I'm just going to put a 1 to see what happens. And the 3 comes outside, so I'm dividing by the bananas. Can't go into 1. Add a decimal, add a 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 1 remainder, add another 0, until you notice that you're going to have a pattern. Y'all see y'all's pattern? I'm going to keep on getting 10 over and over again. Okay, so obviously this is a repeating decimal, so I'm just going to put a line on top. Okay, so this is 0.333 repeated. Okay, but your true answer is going to be something different because we're talking about money. Money has 2 decimal points, the tenths and the hundredths. So whenever they talk about money, you do have to round to the hundred spot, okay? So I'm going to round the 3. And since they're all 3, I'm not going to round up. It's pretty much going to stay 33, okay? So how much does 1 pound of banana cost? It costs 33 cents per pound. 33 cents per pound. That is the unit rate, unit price. Okay, now knowing this, I can answer any questions. Okay, well, how many will 4 pounds cost? How many will 6 pounds cost? How many will 1.5 pounds cost? Okay, if I want to figure out how many 1.5 pounds of bananas cost, I just got to take that and multiply it times 0.33, and now I'll know how much to give the cashier. Okay, that way I always make sure I have enough money to pay at the end. All right, those are your notes for today. I'm going to go ahead and do some try it outs, see if you understand it. That way, if you don't, you can come always to the Google Meets and get your questions answered there. I have so many pins. Oh, I just like to curve this so you can see it. Can you see it there? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and press pause. Try these out on your own. Then when you have your answers, come back, press play, and we'll see if you got them right. All right, let's see. Number 1, we swam 100 yards in 2 minutes. What is the unit rate per minute? So per minute. Okay, good. So what is my rate? My rate was 100 yards per 2 minutes. Okay, so my unit rate is going to be how many yards in 1 minute. Okay, so you should have divided 100 yards by 2 minutes. And got 50. So your answer here is 50 yards per minute. 50 yards per minute. How'd y'all do there? Good. Okay. Sergio spends $42 for 12 gallons of gas. What is the price per gallon? So I know it's going to be price per gallon. So let's see. He spent $42 on 12 gallons. Okay. Now this is the rate. Let's find the unit rate. So I need to figure out how much, what does it cost? What's the price for 1 gallon, per 1 gallon? Okay. So we do our little division here. 42 goes in, money goes in, 12 gallons stays out. Let's see, I go 0, 1, 2, 3. That's 36. Add a decimal, add a 0. 12 goes into 65 times. Yay, no remainder. So 3.5. Your final answer, because it is money, is going to be that he spent $3.50 per gallon. $3.50 per gallon. Okay? So hopefully you got those right. If not, come to the Google Meets. Okay? So now you're going to go ahead and do your Google form. Okay? Remember, all you're doing is dividing. Okay? This tells you right here per gallon, per minute. That tells you what you're dividing by. That tells you what your denominator is going to be. Okay? And remember, top goes in, bottom stays out. Right? Okay, guys, we will see y'all. Y'all have a great day. Bye.